Next we are going to start forging. If you are coming from a village area, if yourself from village area, you might have seen forging operation. In villages, I have seen what they do is they will heat up a metal until it becomes red hot. They'll heat up a metal until it becomes red hot, and then they will start applying the force by using hammer. Because of the force applied by the hammer, the shape of the metal is going to change. This is called as the forging operation. So the operation that I am telling you is very small scale. Just by using hammer, they were able to change the shape of the heated metal. What if you want to make a large size component? For large size component, in industries we are having bigger press. Okay. So by using the force of those presses, we can change the shape of the metal. So I was saying blacksmith. Yes. See. Avengers second part. How did the Thor make his Stormbreaker? Most probably he used the combination of casting and he used the combination of forging. Okay, in Game of Thrones, how do they make the Valyrian steel swords? By using forging. They'll heat up the metal, then they will start applying the force. Because of the force, the shape of the metal is going to change. Okay, so this is forging operation. All the process that we have seen till now, whichever process we have seen, rolling we have seen wire drawing, we have seen extrusion. In all the process, what was happening is we are getting the uniform cross section, right? Whatever the cross section was there in the initial component, that same cross section will be present throughout the component. But forging is the only metal forming process in which you can get non-uniform cross section. Okay, all the operations that we have seen till now, in that we are getting the uniform cross section. Throughout the length we'll have same cross section. Okay, but forging is the only operation in which you can get non-uniform cross section also. So that is again one advantage in case of forging. So please write down. Please start copying. Forging is the only process used for producing non-uniform cross section component, whereas all other metal forming processes are used for producing uniform cross section component only. Next point. Okay, before dictating the next point, what happens is you'll have two dies. In between the dies, you'll keep the metal. Generally, it is heated metal. Okay. So what I'm telling here is we'll be using two dies. Okay. And in between the two dies, we'll keep the heated workpiece. Okay. And because of the force applied by the die, the shape of this workpiece is going to change. Now, how you are applying this force? Based on this, the forging can be classified into two types. If the force is kind of impact load, you are applying a load by impact, okay, and it is an intermittent load. You applied the load, then you remove the load. You applied the load, then you remove the load. Then it is called as drop hammer. You are just dropping a hammer. And if you are applying a continuous load, a press is simply continuously pressing the workpiece, then it is called as press forging. So based on the load, forging is classified as drop hammer and press forging. Next, based on shape of the die, if both the dies are flat, If both the dies are flat, it is called as open die. And if both the dies are having some shape, for example, here, this shape, what will happen in this case is the workpiece will take the shape as the die cavity. When the die will close, a cavity will be formed and the workpiece will take the shape of the die cavity. So, if the die are having some particular shape, it is called as closed die forging. Okay. So there are two ways of classifying. One is open die, closed die, and other is drop hammer and press forging. Yeah, this one is based on type of load. This one is based on the die used. Wait, I'll dictate all this. Okay. Please write down. In forging, raw material is compressed between two dies. In forging, raw material is compressed between two dies until required shape and size. Of the component can be obtained. Until required shape and size of the component can be obtained. Either by using a continuous force, or by using an intermittent impact load. Next point. Based on the load, the forging operation can be classified as drop hammer. First is drop hammer, and the second one is press forging. Can be classified as drop hammer and press forging. Okay. If the next point. If the force applied in forging is intermittent impact load. If the force applied in forging is intermittent impact load, then it is called as drop hammer forging. Next point. If the force applied is continuous force, then it is called as press forging. Next point. Based on how the shape is obtained, forging can be classified as open die forging, closed die forging, and a combination of this is semi-closed die forging. Okay. Based on how the shape is obtained, forging can be classified as open die forging, closed die forging, and semi-closed die forging. Okay. Why I am telling this classification is based on shape obtained. You will understand now. See, first one was open die. Now, in open die, we are using flat dies. Right? So, if you want to get a particular shape, what will you do? If you want to get a particular shape, what will you do? You'll have to change the position of the workpiece. You'll have to change the position of the workpiece in between two loads. Right? Let's suppose this has come down, and when it comes down, it will make the top surface flat. And when it is making top surface flat, the outer surface will have some projection, right? Like this. It will have some projection. Now, you want to press at some other point. You want to apply load at some other point. You simply rotate it. You will move back the die. The die will come back to the top position. The bottom die will remain fixed. Now, as of now, the workpiece is looking like this. Again, this die will come down now. And it will apply load here. It will apply load on this. And again, we'll be able to change the shape. Hence, for getting a particular shape, what we are doing here is we are changing the position of the component in between two loads, in between two strikes. Okay. Other in closed die, what is happening? In closed die, whatever is the shape of the die cavity, the workpiece will simply take that shape. And the workpiece will take the internal shape. This is closed die forging. Okay. In semi-closed, what will happen? We'll have only one bottom die. In semi-closed, we'll have only a bottom die with a particular shape. And the top die will be a flat one. That flat die will apply the load, and the workpiece will take the shape of the bottom die. So please start writing this open die. In open die forging, two flat dies are used. The bottom die is fixed. Whereas the top die is attached to a ram. And it comes down along with the ram. Okay. Next point. The shape and size of the component. Is obtained by changing the position. The shape and size of the component is obtained by changing the position in between the blows. In between the loads or blows, you can say. In between the blows. Okay. Next is closed die. Also called as impression die. Also called as impression die. In this, the shape and size of the component the shape and size of the component. So we are writing about closed or impression die. In this, please write down shape and size of the component is obtained. Shape and size of the component obtained. Shape and size of the component obtained is same as that of shape and size of the two half dies is same as that of shape and size of two half dies. That is the shape of the dies. Is impressed upon the component. Hence, it is also called as impression die forging. Next is semi-closed. This semi-closed die forging. In this, you can see we have taken only one half die. Other one is the flat die. Okay. So write down. It is a combination of open and closed die. In this, the shape and size of the component. Is same as that of the half die. Next point. In this, the position of the component. Can be changed. In between the blows. In between the blows. In this, the shape. In this, the position of the component can be changed in between the blows. Okay. So, out of the three, that is open die, closed die, and semi-closed die, only in open and semi-closed die you can change the position of the component. In closed die, once you have started the operation, you cannot change the position. Now, let us say you are performing an open die operation. Let's say you want a product of uniform thickness. But you have got a product of non-uniform thickness. That is, at one point more material got. At one point there is more material. At one point there is less material. What will you do? You are doing open die forging operation. You want a workpiece of uniform thickness. But what has happened is there is more material at one point and less material at another point. What will you do? Yes, edging is okay, but what is happening? What is happening behind it? Wherever more material is present, at that point you will apply the load. And you will make the material flow towards less material area. Right? To get the uniform thickness. Same thing you can do in semi-closed die also. But in closed die, what will happen is, in closed die, first of all, you are using a fixed shape of the die. So you cannot change the direction of the force. Right? So, if more material gets collected at one point, in this, due to the flow of the material, we cannot exactly predict how the material is going to flow. Due to the flow of the material, what if more material gets collected at one point, and because of that, less material is present at another point? What will you do? In this, we cannot change the direction of the force. Therefore, if more material gets collected at one point, a cavity will be formed at another point. whichever point there was lack of material, at that point cavity will be formed. Okay. Now to avoid that, what we are going to do is, we'll always take the volume of raw material, nearly 20 to 30% more, than the required volume of the workpiece, so that even if more material gets collected at one point, there is no lack of material for another point. Understood? But what will happen is, if you are using more material, the dies will not be able to close properly. Hence, we'll have to give some space on the dies. So that the excess material that you are using can flow into that, like this. Now, because of this, what will happen is, some projection will be formed on the workpiece. The projection that is formed on the workpiece is called as the flash. And the extra space that you gave on the die, is called as the gutter. Okay. Extra space that you gave on the die is called as gutter, and the extra projection because of the gutter that was found on the workpiece is called as flash. Later the flash is removed by some trimming operation, trimming operation. Okay. It's easy now. They kept the name gutter, so you'll always remember the name. If they kept it something difficult, you'll forget, right? So it's easier the name, better for you. In fact, it's a very popular question in different exams. What is the extra projection on the component called? It is called as flash. What is the extra space provided on the die called? It is called as gutter. Okay. So please write down. In open and semi-closed die, if excess material is present at any location, and there is shortage of material at another location, we can apply the force and make the material flow from the excess location to the shortage location. Hence there is no need for extra metal. But in case of closed die forging, if we take the volume of raw material, same as the volume of finished good, and more material gets accumulated at one point, then there will be shortage of the material at another point. This will lead to the formation of This will lead to the formation of unfilled zone. This will lead to the formation of unfilled zone. To ensure that, next point, to ensure that Danish is asking again, unfilled zone, okay. To ensure that the die is filled completely, to ensure that the die is filled completely, to ensure that the die is filled completely, some excess material will be taken, some excess material will be taken, some excess material will be taken, and some space must be provided, and some space must be provided on the dies, and some space must be provided on the dies for the flow of excess metal, for the flow of excess metal, so that the dies are able to close completely, so that the dies are able to close completely. So that the dies are able to close completely. This extra space provided is called as gutter, This extra space provided is called as gutter. Because of the gutter, next point, because of the gutter, some projection is formed on the component. Some projection is formed on the component. This projection is called as flash. This flash is removed. This flash is removed by trimming operation. This flash is removed by trimming operation.